So when it came to MyProtein, you tell the story in a really interesting way in the book about how you first had the idea. I wonder obviously we'll put a link to the book in the video description, but for the people who aren't familiar with the story,
sure.
How did you have the idea to start a powdered protein brand? That's it's pretty random.
It is random. However, saying that, it wasn't random for me because I was a user of the products. Obviously not MyProtein, but I was a user of Maximuscle, which was the leading product in UK at the time. Yeah. It was a retail product. So Maximuscle was effectively the sports nutrition go-to brand in the UK. So rolling back slightly, I was into fitness. And I was since I was around 16, 17. And as you progress through the fitness chain, you then got into the nutrition side of it. And again, as part of the nutrition chain, you then find the supplement side because you can't get enough nutrition from food as you need to maximize your gains. Yeah. And I was a bodybuilder, if you like, back then. I enjoyed myself on the weekend too much, so I wasn't fully strict. But back then, it was, but certainly Monday to Friday, I was very, very anal, if I can say that, very precise on what I trained, on what the weight. And so naturally through that, supplements become part and parcel of the everyday life of a bodybuilder. So I was using a product by Maximuscle, a whey protein product. And it was just a eureka moment, as the chapter in the book says. And I did this systematically with probably 100 plus products before I did it with the protein products. It was a positive habit I had where I broke it down and I tried to see if I could do it better. I knew I believed in myself, I believed in my web skills, and I believed I believed in the web itself. This was 2002, 2003. I believed I put a product online, vertically integrated, it was its own brand, it had the right economics behind it, I could sell it, I believed in myself to do that. So the positive habit I had was to actually break the product down, and one day I was sat in my kitchen, my mum's kitchen actually, and I was making my bedtime shake. I think it was a Thursday night, and I can remember it vividly. And I said, what is actually whey protein? And it just sort of came to me because I did it systematically, as I said. I looked on the back of the ingredients, and it said whey protein, flavoring, sweetener, some other fillers and vitamins and whatnot. And then I didn't actually know what whey protein was. I don't know if I'm alone on that, but back then it was actually a byproduct not that many years before, maybe a decade before, that was being thrown away. No pun intended. So whey protein is effectively...
Nice. I just got that one.
No, whey protein is actually a byproduct of cheese. So when you make cheese, you then the cheese floats at the top and the liquid at the bottom is whey. Wheys and curds, as the old nursery rhyme says. So if someone once found out that the whey protein is very, very high in protein, and if you filter it enough, it becomes a highly bioavailable source of protein. It's used in baby foods and, of course, whey protein powder for sports nutrition. After doing that research, then I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I wonder where you get whey from. So I found some dairies who make cheese. I went through the cycle of asking lots and lots of them. But in short, I found out it was £3 a kilo to buy whey protein, the raw material. And then, I did my maths, basically whey protein with flavouring sweeteners. I could make the product for about £5-6 a kilo, and it was being sold retail for about £30 for £2, which is just less than a kilo.
Wow. Okay.
908 grams.
Yeah.
So I thought there's some margin in that.
Okay. So Maximuscle and stuff, they were already selling whey protein.
Correct.
And so it's not like you reinvented the wheel by just suddenly discovering whey protein was a thing. It was more like, hang on, I can do this better and I can do it cheaper and I can go direct to consumer.
Absolutely. So obviously the key angle, the key USPs, which are obviously absolutely essential. When everyone says, "Oh, I've got a new business," what is your USP? It's fundamental. If you can have multiple USPs, the better. So look, there's people selling whey protein. I'm not trying to profess I invented whey protein. Absolutely not. This was done for maybe 5, 6, 7 years before, and in America for longer. But what no one was doing was selling it online as a brand, a vertically integrated brand. So I own cow to customer.
Nice.
So effectively straight from the dairy. Into our plant, we blended it. It wasn't a big manufacturing process. It was more blending powders, adding flavourings, and then we sold it direct to the consumer. We did all the fulfilment and then all of the aftercare, customer service, etc.
That would have been quite like trailblazing back in 2002, where, accepting payments on the internet only became trivial in like 2012 when Stripe came along. So like how did you go about building all of that in the days where we didn't have WordPress and Shopify and WooCommerce and all the other stuff?
Yeah, look, obviously that was a big barrier to entry, to be honest. And I was fortunate enough that I come from a tech background, a self-trained tech background. But I actually, when I left school at 16, I had a year of milling around doing not very much productive. And then I had a wake-up call, time to get your arse in gear, if I can say that. And what jumped out at me, I tried the academic study route, Ali, but it wasn't for me. I don't know, I don't learn that way. And I believe that's a behavioral thing, a learning disability in some way for me. It's not how I learn. I learn very much on the job. So I tried, I didn't do very well at school. I got 1 GCSE. And it wasn't through lack of care. It was through lack of focus and it wasn't engaging with me. Yeah. So that's something I really want to try and champion at some point in the future, because I think there's not one way to skin a cat in terms of education. Secondly, I tried college. But I did IT at college, but I don't want to sound big-headed or cocky here, but I said to the teacher, look, I believe I know this. Can I go into the higher class, the higher form? There's two, there's lower and upper IT. He says, no, you're not good enough. You're in the lower. But before that, I'd been building computers from the ground up and working with computers as well. So I knew everything. So I just said, look, this is a waste of my time. And one thing I hate doing is wasting time. So I left college, had a year of milling around, and then I walked past back then there was shop fronts with modern apprenticeship opportunities, right, which I'm not sure they'd still do modern apprenticeships these days. It's effectively working within a company where you learn on a job but do a day at college every week. So it's like, and then you come out with an MVQ level 3, which is equivalent to an A level. So I went, right, this is computer development, junior programmer, working for a company making IDE drivers, which basically make industrial machines talk to each other, which is probably the most boring thing you can develop in the world. But I went in at 16 or 17, and I was doing the photocopying, making cups of tea, and doing all of the things you expect a junior apprentice to do. But what I did learn there, which was absolutely key, was the dynamics of office politics. And that is so important. So I learned how different people engage with each other and what's expected, and just the way the dynamics of an office flow. And it taught me so much. And then I learned how to start developing there more professionally. And that is when someone introduced me to the World Wide Web. Yeah. And then my mind was blown. So from then, which was about 97, I bought a book of how to make websites. And I literally taught myself Perl, I think the language was, JavaScript, HTML, and later Java, and then finally Cold Fusion and MySQL. But websites, so I was building websites for 7 years before I started MyProtein in 2003. I worked on BBC, Jessops.com, and quite a few other websites.